Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we're going to keep you up to date with a lot of things in our emails at the second half of the show, where Laf will join us. But for the first half of the show, we got Super Sub Warren Lamferno. Warren, nice to have you with us.
Morning, James. Thanks very much. Yes, indeed. Always a pleasure and an honour to be on the show. It's a great show, and it's lovely to be a part of it. Thanks very much.
You're not the only one that thinks it's a great show. There are a lot of people out there that think it's a terrible show. So maybe you are the only one.
James, well, I tell you, there's a lot of people out there that, we're us as presenters and, as we said, tipsters, and, you guys as co-hosts. Some say they're useless, some say we're good, some say so.
How's Livewire been going, as a matter of fact?
Very good, actually. Very good. Livewire's been going.
You've been tipping them?
Yeah, one or two.
You tipped Piano Man yesterday.
I didn't tip Piano Man, no. But they've been going all right, up and down. The Livewire does spark every now and again, Jimbo.
That's exactly what Livewire is all about. Anyway, let's get into the show, and we're going to go and have a look at our 3 to follow.
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby. Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Right, well, we're going to go and have a look at the first of our 3 to follow, and we picked up one at Greyville on Wednesday. Dougie Campbell trains this one, Eden Garden Glitz. Drawn on the outside, super first run. Let's go and pick it up at the start.
There we can see she is, James, as you said, Doug Campbell's filly out the pens on the outside, green sleeves, and gets a fair break, and Ian Sturgeon gets her into the race. But Winneshob, which is Therese Mitchley's runner, scoots off to the front with the blue sleeves and the red cap. And Ian Sturgeon's got this horse just off them, Just Vogue's on its inside, and of course Little Gambler on the rail with a white cap. And Miss Miniver, the eventual winner's behind Eden Garden Blitz. But I thought it was a good run from this horse, James.
Yeah, well, Miss Miniver was one we picked out to follow after its first run. It's getting a scrub behind Eden Garden Glitz. Eden Garden Glitz going well. She's a daughter of 7th Rock out of the Hard Up mare, South African bred that is, but Waterford stud breeder, and a whole lot of Doug's old faithful patrons involved in this. But watch how she fights on here. It looks like Miss Miniver is going to actually roll past her. But here she gets under a bit of a ride, and she really fights on with Miss Miniver, and she fights off 2 that have run already. Just Vogue and Little Gambler have already run, so she's a first-timer. Cracking good run from her, and also a good run from Dennis Dryer's first-timer that ran 5th. But this was a run to pick up. And obviously we think that she'll go on and be able to win her next start.
Very much so. I think she'll win her next start. She'll be hard to beat in her next start because, as you said, she fought on. She moved into the straight, travelling comfortably, and she fought them off. And I think just Miss Miniver on the day, having the experience, was too good. But definitely one to follow, that's for sure.
Yeah, it shows what experience is all about in racing. Let's go and have a look at the Vaal on the 21st 1,000 meters they went. It was a maiden plate. And we picked up this one, really worthwhile having a look at this. This we think would be able to win next time. She got well beaten, and her name, She's a Giver. We can get her up on the screen. There she is, drawn 6. She's got a star with a sheepskin noseband, blue colors. She doesn't get out that well, but the winner has got the sheepskin 5 off the left-hand side, and that absolutely scoots away from them.
Yeah, that was Eternal Fire, the eventual winner, James. A very consistent form, a winner for Ian Sturgeon, Lucky Hood Larkis's horse, right up on the outside rail, as you said, and had the form to win this race and to win it well. But as you said, the horse that we've picked out, She's a Giver's, just getting a few urgings up the centre of the track to stay into contention. But this horse certainly ran a very good race.
Yeah, she's my philanthropist out of Vaal mare. She cost quite a lot of money at the Cape Yearling sales, and she's Jan Janssen van Vuren's runner. He gets them ready first time out, but and they put the money on this filly, but she had too much to do to get to Eternal Fire. Eternal Fire got the race in the bag, beautifully ridden, got away from them. But this filly, she's a giver, should be able to come on leaps and bounds from that run.
Yeah.
And the Philanthropist starting to do pretty well as well, so you'll be able to go to the National Yearling Sales and go and get yourself one of those. There are lots of them there from Drachenstein and some other studs. Go and have a look at them at the National Yearling Sales. But we're going to move on to the next one is the Maiden Juvenile Plate Turfentine, 1,600 meters. This was on the Saturday, the 23rd of April. This filly is trained by Tyrone Zaki, and Samanga Kamalo got the ride on her. Let's go and have a look at her at the start. Legend Seeker, drawn towards the outside in the light blue and pink colors of Tyrone Zaki. Falls out the pens.
Falls out the pens, James. Definitely doesn't get the best break, and the majority of the field are out and gone, and Smanga Kumalo just snucks her into the back. He's urging her, you know, he's getting her into the race, saying, come on girl, let's go, and she's just all at sea, James, and to be quite honest with you, I can't believe from that position she ends up running third.
Well, no one can believe it. I think out in front, Lyle Hewittson's on the favourite might as well. And when you watch this race, this is an incredible run. Because here she is just in picture at the right-hand side of your picture. The front horse is, she's out of picture now. That's how far behind she is. And the front horse is the favourite. So now you've got to go some to beat the favourite. The winner, Santaburi, Australian filly, Robbie Sages, beautifully ridden by Andrew Fortune. Positioned in the right place and wins at the right time. But this filly's last now.
Look at her, James. She's green as the grass she's running on. She's green. She doesn't know what she's doing. Even from there, you'd think, goodness me, you know. But all of a sudden, the Smanga drops her one or two, as you say, one or two taps. And look at this horse unwind, James. I haven't seen a horse quicken up in a race like this for a very long time.
Well,
it's the front.
Quickened up to go and win it, didn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you would think she would win.
Yeah.
And the swishing her tail and, you know, just all at sea and doing well. Might as well still rolling with Lyle Hewitson in front. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the winner comes down the inside, which is Santaburi, as you mentioned. But what a run, James, to come from that position. Goodness me.
Well, I would think this filly might be a filly that you don't want to put the stick on her. She looked like she was cruising until she got a smack or two, then the tail swished. But the way she moved up, the way she ran at them, she really got some turn of foot, and she was quietly fancied in the betting. Put her in your black book, Legend Seeker, in the right race. She'd certainly be worth having a look at. I think that she's a Magok, out of Royal Academy mare. She's bred by our friend Scott Brothers here in KwaZulu-Natal, Tyrone Zaki. Legend Seeker, put her in your black book. You won't want to miss out on her. And we'll be able to go to the National Yearling Sales to go and have a look at the Wilgeborgsdrift and Maritzfontein horses. Apparently they're all there. We're looking forward to seeing them at the sales this week. Don't miss out.
Soft Falling Rain, pull it clear. Soft Falling Rain's won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2,000 guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells. Soft Falling Rain, much too good. Soft Falling Rain, an impressive guineas winner. Soft Falling Rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's Soft Falling Rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
Final leg of the Sascock Triple Crown, and they sent on their way from the 24.50 metre mark. And Louis the King got a good beginning, and racing with it is a Leecher in the black cap who's racing along the inside. As You Like is in the yellow cap outside of those. Then we go back to Super Tube, who's racing back in the third position, and there is a few lengths off the leader as they swing along now onto the back stretch and make their way to the 2,000 metre mark. Fort Bellini's at the rail, Atomic Rush, then Lure Jet. Louis the King's in the middle and about racing racing 7-8 lengths off that leader right now. And then we go back to the red cap of Earl of Derby, who's racing about 10 or so from that leader. Further back in the field, Gone Baby Gone, who races behind that lot right now as they continue along with Mercado, who's further back. Bouclair Top runs behind those. Then in the orange colours is Flight Warning. Judicial is further back in the field, and Taresh is at the back end. And I would say you can make that, 20 lengths, first to last, as they travel through the 1600 metre mark now. And it's Alici who races in the black cap, the leader, and leads it by a couple of lengths to As You Like, who's in second spot. Super Tube is racing away in that third position now. And then we go back to Fort Bellini, who's in the red cap, and they race their 7-8 lengths off that leader as they continue along now. Lulub Jet, Atomic Rush is racing behind those. And then we go further back to Earl of Derby, who's racing in the red cap right now. And Louis the King is about 10 lengths off the leader, is racing right next to the paint with Bouclair Top, who's racing on its outside. Gone Baby Gone is in behind that lot. Flight Warning. Mercado is further back. Judicial and Taresh is the trailer, and they're about 15 lengths off the leader in the South African Derby. So it's going to be Alici who turns for home in front and leads the way, has it by a couple of lengths. They're about to be homeward bound now with 800 metres left to go. As You Like is in the yellow cap, followed after those out there by further back Lulub Jet. Then we go back towards the inside as Super Tube. Where's Louis the King? Is in the middle. He's in the black sleeves and the red cap, and they're about to come forward with 500 to go. And I favour that he's hit the front already as Louis the King now. Lulub Jet is behind those now with As You Like, who's further back in the field. Earl of Derby's on the chase. Gone Baby Gone. Bouclair Top behind that. 300 to go. Louis the King. Gone Baby Gone is racing behind that. Fort Bellini is in the red cap. As You Like is trying to peg him back. Louis the King is going for all he's worth with 150 to go. As You Like is trying hard to come and catch Louis the King. Louis the King is still in front. He's staying on gamely. Here's Louis the King, and he has won the South African Derby. Louis the King is now going to make his way into equine immortality. Oh, what a win from Louis.
Well, there you go. Louis the King winning the third leg of the Triple Crown. And we might have the same scenario this weekend, Warren.
I tend to agree with you, James. I certainly do. I think it's just about as a one-horse race.
Abashiri.
Yeah, Abashiri. I think 1 to 3. I think the guys were talking in the car on the way to the races yesterday. I think it's 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. And quite rightly so. I mean, and wouldn't it be nice to see Abashiri go all 3 legs?
It's fantastic. It's so exciting to see a horse win the Triple Crown. Anywhere. We had American Pharaoh won the Triple Crown in America last year. And just that we can have Triple Crown winners. Horse Chestnut won the Triple Crown.
Yeah,
Louis the King's won it. We had the Triple Tiara winner, bred by the team. And let me tell you, it just absolutely fantastic. And this weekend, no different. So let's go and have a look this weekend. But we're going to come back after this race. We're going to go and watch something, and then we'll be back with Plum of the Week and Current Affairs.
By Gregorian Chance sitting on the heels of the Early Speed. On the right path is racing next, and behind that we got Dark Force being followed towards the inside of the track by Table Bay. Coming up the middle we got Volatile Energy, then comes Purple Tractor, next it's Cat in the Hat, and outside of runners we got Avimore into the final 200, always in charge along the inside. Racing next on the outside of that one we got Cock-a-Hoop, and up the outside we got Dark Force, and down the inside Gregorian Chant, but always in charge is now being geared down to an easy victory. As always in Chance wins it easy. From in second we had Cock-a-Hoop, then came Dark Force, Gregorian Chant and Table Bay.
Well, you want to back those type of horses as the price this horse was on Interbet. Absolutely incredible. You could have had what you liked on this horse, and he was odds against.
James, as you said, having the one run and run second, and you can't beat experience. 16 to 10, 15 to 10 available right through to the jump. and lovely odds, and it certainly did look the right horse in the race, and generous odds once again. So hope the punters got on.
Yeah, he's a son of Captain Al. We picked him out on 3 to Follow, a horse that you had to be with. So if you put these horses in your black book, you won't be missing out on them, because this horse was a bet of the weekend, get you off to the right start in Cape Town, and very nice to see him winning for Vaughan Marshall and the Eusters. We'll be back. Let's go and have a look and see what we've got in current affairs.
If you love soccer and you play the tote, you won't believe what Interbet has to offer you. Or the excitement of tote betting on your computer or your cell phone. It's simple. Choose your teams and your bets, work out what your combinations will cost, see how big the pool is, and place your bets. You can even track your bet live as it happens and get updates on your progress. It's all the fun of the tote on your phone. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at www.interbet.co.za and you could be a winner.
Well, there you are, the graduate of the week, and this was very impressive. A horse called Oomph, beautifully named, won the Eastern Cape Nursery. He's a 2-year-old colt by Tiger Ridge, and he was bred by the partnership of Wilgeborgsdrift and Maritzfontein in 260,000 national yearling sales graduate, so he's way under average. Alan Creerfowl, mate down there in the Eastern Cape, won it for the team, and this was, as we say, the graduate of the week from Bloodstock South Africa. Now, if you're going to go to the sales, you've got to be there on Wednesday, 3 o'clock, they start selling. Don't be late, because at 3 o'clock, they start selling those horses, and they'll run through. Graham Hawkins told you all about it last week on your call, so you know all about the national yearling sales. It is the place to be. Don't miss out. And as you see, Maritzfontein and Wilgeborgsdrift, they bred this one in partnership, and we're looking forward to being up there. It's going to be some great fun. And we're going to move on and go and have a look at an insert that we've got for you on the launch of Louis the King.
Everyone loves a horse. More particularly, everyone loves a good horse. And when a good horse comes with a great story, well, you've hit the jackpot. The story of Louis the King has always had a whiff of fairy tale about it. The plain bay horse, unwanted in the sale ring, and sold on a chance encounter in a Durban car park. Jeff Woodruff had stopped at the sales, less to buy yearlings than to deliver tickets for a client. He encountered Philip Kahan in the car park, who mentioned a coat that he had had no bids for. On a whim, Jeff bought him on spec, and the plain bay with a fluffy forelock and unruly mane was dispatched to Rijkiesfontein. Shortly afterwards, Jeff was approached by Tiaan van der Veever with a view to joining the yard. Jeff mentioned that he had a coat available. Tiaan drove out and had a look, liked what he saw, and said he'd take the whole horse, registering the name Louis the King after his son. The rest, ladies and gentlemen, is history.
Well, the launch is this evening at Gosforth Park at the Sales Arena, Warren. They're going to be launching Louis the King as a stallion. So, unfortunately, the show will go out while the launch is on. But the point is that if anyone's interested in getting involved in Louis the King as a stallion, obviously there are shares available, and he's a homebred. He's a horse that was a champion in his own right, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, as the gentleman said in the in the inserts, the rest is history. What a lovely story about Louis the King. Yeah. I mean, this is what racing's about. This is what dreams are made of, and congratulations to the whole team. It really is a fairy tale story, and we can only wish Louis the King the best at at his stud career. I'm unfortunately not going to be there tonight. I'm only arriving tomorrow morning, so I'll miss that. But I'm sure you'll, yeah.
Well, as I say, this is the theatre of dreams. You want to get to the National Yearling Sales. You'll be able to buy yourself a horse. That's all it takes. Buy yourself a horse, find someone to train it, and the rest can be history. And Louis the King certainly made the history. We're going to go and have a look at the Winter Guineas. It was the only feature that we had this weekend. The Techie Town Winter Guineas, sponsored by our mate Bram van Heesteen and Techie Town. And let's go and see how that panned out.
15 lengths off that leader. This is Sparta. Then comes Elusive Silver, and Villa Ghazi is sitting at the end of a stretched out field. 20 lengths first to last as heads turn for home in the Techie Town Winter Guineas with just on 600 metres left to go. Hard Day's Night is in front and making a move towards the outside. Then towards the inside of that one we find Streak of Silver. Between runners there too, we got Search Party. Down the inside, we got Royal Badge ready to attack. Lord Marshall, Icy Trail gets going. This is Sparta on the rail. They fanned right across the track with 300 metres left to go. This is Sparta. Villa Ghazi gets going. Whiskey Baron is hard up against the outside running rail, and Marinaresco out the back. He's charging home in the middle. It's Whiskey Baron hard up against the outside. Down the inside, we got Marinaresco and Villa Ghazi. Whiskey Baron, Marinaresco, Villa Ghazi to the wire. Marinaresco won it. Marinaresco wins the Winter Guineas. Close, Villa Ghazi and Whiskey Baron.
Well, there you go, Marinaresco, and this could be a July horse next year. He's by Silvano. He's a horse out of a Fort Wood mare. He was bred by Maritzfontein stud, and their name keeps propping up. You've got to go and have a look at the Maritzfontein and the Wilderbosdrift yearlings. This horse was bought by Bryn Rissel and Marsh Shirtliff, and I think this is a very, very good horse. He won well, didn't he?
He did win well. He quickened up nicely and skated away from the opposition, and very, very impressive winner. And just to touch on the second and third horse, Whiskey Baron and Villa Ghazi, I thought they were also, creditable, running second and third respectively. But it's about the winner, Marinaresco, and he certainly did impress.
He certainly did the job, and it was super to see the Bass team winning the Winter Guineas. He's won it, I don't know how many times, more times than he's probably been training. Mike, I think they won it every single year just about. I think Joey won it once or twice. And if I left someone out, don't take exception, okay? We're going to go and have a look at other champions, and the British champion trainer, Paul Nicholls. You know Paul Nicholls?
Yeah, James, 10 times champion trainer.
That's him. He's unbelievable. And, he beat Willie Mullins, who's the Irish champion, but the British champion encompasses both groups. And Willie Mullins is a wizard. And they ran to the last race meeting at Sandown Park, neck and neck. I think there was 50,000 pounds between them. But Nicholls was always in front, and Nicholls had him.
Jeez, unreal, yeah, James. No, fantastic. Yeah, that is brilliant.
He's a very nice guy, Paul Nicholls, as well. And certainly, if you ever go to England and want to go and have a look around the yard, he's very, very accommodating. Talking about champions, Richard Johnson is the British champion jockey. And Richard Johnson has been in the wings of none other than the great champion of all these years.
Yeah, Tony McCoy, James, unreal. And first time Richard Johnson, first time champion. Yeah. And congratulations to him, really fantastic.
Yeah, well, Tony McCoy has beaten Richard Johnson on a number of occasions. I think Richard's run second or third, but he's a consummate professional. People love him, Richard Johnson, and he got his just desserts, and I think he's the happiest man in Britain to win the championship, even happier than some other people we know over there. But we move on, and the QE2 Cup is the big race in Hong Kong, and it's always a race worth having a look at. This year, the older horses against the young horse. The older horses got beaten by the young horse. Verta, the son of Tavistock, who's the champion sire in New Zealand, ended up winning it. And he beat none other than our old friend.
Yeah, Military Attack, James, ran second by Oratorio. So that was really great. Yeah, Military Attack, good run.
Well, there are a whole lot of Oratorios on the sale. Military Attack ran a fantastic race, but Verta beat him comfortably, ended up winning by 4 lengths. He was Hong Kong Derby winner last year, Verta, and they didn't know that he'd be able to go with these type of horses. There were some very, very good horses in it. We had Erdejal, who ran a very nice race with no luck in the running at all, but it was a good race. Talking about champion, Samanga Kamalo is chasing the championship, and he's the first jockey to get to 1,000 rides this year.
1,000 rides, James. That's a lot of rides. But you know, he travels. He's all over the place. He was here at Scottsville yesterday. It was nice to see him and go over and have a chat with him. He just rides. Every time you open the race card, his name's there, and really, just a fair amount of rides. And as you say, absolute champion.
Yeah, he's ridden 185 winners already, Samanga, this season, and he's ridden 330 places from his 1,000 rides, which is some type of record. That's really going some. As far as other news is concerned, Betfair is a company that is banned in South Africa and banned in some other place in the world. It's been banned in America for many, many years because the Americans didn't want them Betfair taking on their pari-mutuel. But it's got the foot in the door with Meadowlands Racecourse. Now, Meadowlands Racecourse is in New Jersey, south of New York, and they have been granted a license to use Betfair to race on to bet on their races. Now, why Betfair is so popular? Because it's an exchange, Warren. You can either lay them all back there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you fancy the horse, you want to back it, you can. If you don't fancy, you can lay it. You can, as you say, you can do as you like. Betfair.
And they bet in running, so that means that you've got a 1.5 mile race, and after they've gone 4 furlongs, you think you can win. You can have all these bets ready to go in running, and they bet on sport in running as well. So it's a fantastic site.
Yeah, that is it. As you know, I'm not too clued up, and sport is not my interest. Horse racing certainly is, but as you say, you've got a long race, and things can change. Yeah. And in running betting is fantastic.
Well, how they got it right is they're paying a 12% commission to the racing industry, which is they normally take off a 2%, between 2 and 3% commission. They're paying a 12% commission. The only other quick bit of news: 164 record entries of overseas runners for Royal Ascot, and the prize money is up by £1 million, which is 18%. Royal Ascot, we always love going to see what goes on there. It's
James,
good racing there.
I haven't been to Royal Ascot, as you know, but it's certainly on my bucket list. But big money and big entries and just fantastic.
We want to see your Facebook page with a picture of you in a topper and tails and a top hat. You'll be about the tallest guy on the race.
As Kevin Shea says, I'll have to take my swimming cap off and put my top hat on. So
yeah, exactly right. Chad Schofield, he's one of our sons, we believe, and he rode 2 winners in Hong Kong on the weekend, including the Group 3 Queen Mother Cup 2,400 meters. So nice to see Chad still doing it.
No, Chad, different division. I mean, he was here for the July Vodacom Durban July last year, and great rider. And again, not to sound repetitive, but chatting to Kevin yesterday, as you know, Kevin's a huge part of the industry. And we were talking about Chad, and he said, what a great rider, and for a comment to come like that from a legend himself. Yeah. So Chad Schofield certainly doing us proud, and his whole family proud.
Yeah, fantastic to see our boys all over the world riding winners. We're going to move on and get to the National Yearling Sales, as I say, from Wednesday to Friday. Don't miss the National Yearling Sales. We'll be there. And we hope you have a most enjoyable racing weekend. From me, James Goodman, Warren Lanferner, Paul Lafferty, have a great weekend's racing. Well, as promised, your call today, we're going to be looking at some emails, and we've got some pretty fascinating stuff that's come in because they're all pretty contentious, close to the bone. They're going to have tongues wagging out there. Keep these emails coming in. We do them about once a month, and should be a bit of fun. But Leff, you've got the first one.
Yeah, I've got the
Very
first one to go. Yeah, it's important we get the emails in because we like to know what's going on. This week, it's a bit of a diatribe discourse here, James, from a couple of guys.
That's a long couple of words for a 12-year-old.
But let's crack on with the comedian. Right, here we go. This is the first one. It comes from Martin LaRue. Now, Martin LaRue, I'm not going to read it all to you, but basically he said it's time to have a go at the jockeys. He knows jockeys make mistakes, and he said there are two top jockeys who certainly should take it on the chin. And what he's saying, James, is that Arthur Marcus and Anthony Delpesh, two of the great riders in our part of the world, have tossed it at the wrong time. So his first horse he mentioned, he says, and they must take it on the chin. They still get paid for their riding fee. He said in the Fillies Guineas, he went too early on, Negro Maro. Did you watch the race?
I did. I
don't want to draw you into this. You sound a smile. You still get over the early joke.
I actually thought he rode a pretty good race.
Okay, well that's good.
Went to win his race early, and I thought he rode a good race. But you see, that's where these things become fascinating, because one man will be sitting on the sideline and saying, hey, he didn't ride that well, he went too early, or he didn't get in the right position, or this or the other. And another man will turn around and say, no, hell, did the best he could to win the race. And I thought that Negro Maro, he rode a very good race on.
That's probably got Jim here. Jim can always make sure we get the counter argument. And then he said, after that bad ride, he then proceeded to do it again. The next time he rode the horse in a feature. Now, he's saying that the Fillies Classic, he's using words like both times he went way too early. Now, you've defended him. Can you defend him on both?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
I think he was on the best horse. He wanted to go and win the race, and he went at the right time. You then got to look at the conditioning of the horse, and whether the horse has got the heart, and whether the horse is in the right place, and whether it's as good as they all think it is. All those factors then come into it. And when you look at the actual results of the race, there wasn't much between her and She's a Dragon on every occasion that they've met, okay? And she's beaten her every time, but she hasn't beaten her by much. So, you know, it wasn't an atrocious ride.
No,
you can't say that.
You know? I agree with you. This is the first time it's come up. It's just Martin LaRue's opinion that maybe...
And Anton's one of those jockeys, he likes to get there early.
Yeah,
and if he's on fit horses, they stay on. You know, Mike de Kock has always said that he wants his jockeys to be right in the right position and to get there early because his horses are fit enough. Now, then you question Negro Maro and say, was she firstly as good as they think that she is?
Yeah, that could be a factor.
And secondly, was she absolutely at her best? Because if she was at her best, maybe she would have rolled to the line.
But she ran well. She ran well.
She ran very well.
You know, she was beaten by my mate Roland Bowers. It was nice to see Roland having a big race like that, big man like that, very emotional when he won the big race. But I haven't finished with Martin LaRue.
Oh, you haven't? What else have you got to say?
He said, and Anthony Bonji Delpesh, he said his ride on Marmalade exemplifies it. Well, this was way too early.
Well, I thought he was on the best hour in the race. It was a 1.5 mile race. She's by Duke of Marmalade, bred to go all day. Yeah. He went to win his race and was weighted correctly to go and win his race. Got run out of it, you know. These things happen.
No, we got to get your opinion now that you're chairman of the Jockeys Association.
If you're starting to have a go at jockeys, what I don't like is I don't like jockeys that pull and push horses, you know. Get in a position.
I don't want them pushing.
Pulling.
Don't pull my horse.
You know, you want the horse to relax and get into a nice breathing pattern, and that this easing and then going and easing and going.
Breaking stride,
kills a horse. Absolutely kills a horse.
Oh no, I agree. And these are the two best riders around.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased you defended them because I agree with you.
Well, you do agree with me.
Yeah, so I know all those races well, and there is a time when you think, well, I've got enough horse to win. I remember Marmalade well because I had a couple of rand on it.
Yeah.
Well, and it did. If he moved it, he thought it was time to go. It looked to the naked eye like it was early and just got run out of it late.
We've seen this a lot. Sometimes a horse gets there too early and gets run out of it.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not sure that that's bad jockeyship.
And whichever way the race was
yeah.
won, it would have run second.
Yeah. I think bad jockeyship is when horses are not put in the right place in the race, when they've got every chance to be put in the right place, and when they're given too much to do. That is bad jockeyship.
Conversely, too much early. Some get yacht to the front and
what he think he's saying is that they should lose their fee.
No, he said,
that
52 years he's followed the game. He's passionate about the game, Joe.
But he's never sat on
it. And he said, I've never ridden a horse, but I know the difference between a good ride and a bad ride. And he's picked that up. The old adage, you don't feel better to criticise, comes into play here. And that's just his point that he's put out there. And he says, take it on the chin, guys. No one is asking for the riding feedback. Perhaps there should be.
Let's get down to basics when you talk about this. You've seen the best jockeys in the world, and every one of them rides a bad race, and they'll admit they ride a bad race.
Yes,
you've got to. It's like watching Lewis Hamilton drive a motor car, watching Tiger Woods hit a golf ball. They don't hit it sweet every time, and they don't drive it properly every time. There's the best guys make less mistakes than the worst guys. The worst guys make a lot more mistakes. That's why they are where they are.
Right, you've got a lovely one now, James. I just glanced at this,
This guy, George Barnes, okay, I don't know how he expects us to read this. I know it's an 18 and over show, but how he expects us to read this out on television. But he sent it to the Teletrack team, so they know about it, okay? Yeah. He sent it to Joey Ramsden and Mike de Kock. I don't know how they're going to help him.
Well, Joey writes, I suppose, and Mark's got a website. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Okay.
Well, what he says is at the start of the English racing season is Doncaster. And he said, that's the start of the racing season. Surely Teletrack should show Doncaster in its entirety on the first day of the season.
I don't think Teletrack gets all the races from...
well, he says they showed one race. Okay, from
Doncaster. They did show one from Doncaster. Yeah. Okay, well, that takes that theory out.
So then he goes into a tirade. Crikey, they think that I can swim. Tyrad Zaki, he gives it. Then he has a go at the Teletrack presenters. Well, all I can say is that I think he's a bit off sides here. I think Alistair Cohen's a fantastic commentator. Nico certainly knows the job.
I read this. He's
Molly's, I think...
he's a legend.
Fantastic. And
he's sound again, I believe, eh? They've changed hips.
Is he sound again? Yeah.
The old Halifax right back.
Then he has a go at a couple of the googly-eyed ones, and then he just actually has a go at everyone. But when you want to talk about presenters, there's a girl who does the racing on English television, who's got the most nasal, whiny voice I've ever heard. She can drive me up the wall. But you see, some people like that type of voice because they're used to their wives.
Voices are strange. You can listen to a guy talk once and say, this guy's got a great voice. You finished, James? And yes, it's...
Well, they're used to that, you see.
Yeah, but there are certain people like Hutchinson. You're a golfing man. He talks. He's got a beautiful voice.
Dennis is fantastic.
Fantastic. Then you'll get a guy like Joel Stransky, who speaks perfect English but has a nasally voice. People are used to him. When he started off, people say, what's he doing it? No, he's completely in the thing. And that girl's been doing it for so long. She rides out every morning, so she gives a bit of info too. So I think people have learnt that that's just her.
Well, everyone has their pluses and minuses in life, He then goes on.
Have you ever tallied up yours?
Then it goes on and says, Winning Ways is the best program on 239, gets cut. I'm not going to say how it gets cut, because of USA bush racing, at least the two of us are the best looking guys on television.
This is myopic. He's severely myopic. But
certainly.
James, his gripe is basically, once you've got through all the profanities, is that we have a situation where show us the right races, it's top racing, don't show us, if we get in the feed, show us what we need to see. Who does that up in Joburg?
Well, I think they've got contracts with at the races.
But if they showed one race, James?
They showed one race, well,
they could have shown the others. That's his argument. The big race, you don't want to be watching the Met and we cross to a four-horse field at Chepstow over 5Ks. These are things that I can see why the public, they scrutinise what they watch.
I think since Rob Scott's been there, it's improved quite considerably, because it used to happen.
Yes.
And I think that there's the word is out that you've got to actually race where the best racers are. And you want to show every race that you contracted to show the race.
Show the race, yeah.
But don't have it.
You know, international interests must be shown. You know, when Michael de Kock goes globe-trotting and where Hong Kong coming up next or wherever, show that. The people want to be patriotic. You know, we like watching our cricket teams overseas, our rugby teams, our soccer teams, and people will watch it, they're patriotic. When you get to horse racing, you've got to show those big horses racing overseas.
Well, they definitely showed, you know, you get Sharton every morning and you get,
we get good racing.
the Singapore racing, so we can watch Patrick Shaw and them. And, you know, just talking about presenters, Gareth Pepper was a guy who didn't get much of a chance here. You know, there were... Look at him. He's one of the top guys in Singapore.
Kevin Peterson, of South Africa. He didn't get a chance at that event.
Yeah.
No, I remember some time ago speaking and saying, I said, nice to see young presenters like Gareth Pepper and, of course, the commentator, Mr. Cohen. They were good young presenters coming through, and they're both articulate, and they've got a good way about them. And it's unfortunate that we lost Gareth, you know. And, you know, we could lose a guy like Alistair Cohen, because he's internationally, he could be in demand as a commentator internationally.
And well, look what Trevor Denman did.
Yeah, he took a chance and went.
Just work it out. There's a guy that he was just a commentator here.
Yeah.
People liked him. Other people liked Eric. Other people liked whoever there was.
But James, there is the story.
Duffield. Do you remember Ernie Duffield?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they all loved Ernie Duffield. Trevor,
of course, he was the man.
Trevor Denman was nothing compared to Ernie Duffield.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that we could, people like Sheldon, the young commentators, I know when Trevor Denman threw in the towel, the names were
Did he get a knockout punch? Did he throw in the towel, get a knockout punch?
You get a knockout punch and a commentator, that's what they're looking for. But I hope, listen, it's good if they get a break. I hope they do get a break. But getting back to Gareth Pepper, as you say, he's done well.
Well, there you are.
And he's patriotic, you know, he loves circuit, loves the game, and he's seriously involved in it in any way he can be.
Yeah. Right, we're going to move on here. The next one is from Roy Peaty, and Roy's a serious follower of our show and always sends in an email that's well worth having a look at. He gave us compliments and a bit late, but he says he's looking at the South African bred runners in Maidan and especially the champions, and he thinks Maidan's the right place, and he understands all the problems we have with African horse sickness issues. He says Mike's gained a reputation as a worldwide trainer and attracting foreign owners, but he says, are we breeding the best horses in this country? Well, he goes on to say that maybe we've got the wrong stallions in here. Maybe we're getting the wrong stallions in here because there are a lot of Dane Hills and, you know.
They were successful line horses. Gee, you know, imagine sometimes we're getting too many northern dancers.
Yeah.
The Nijinsky's, the Galileos, the Australias, all the way through the Monjeurs, all those families. No, we've got good stallions. I think we've got to get them out there and let them race. So, you know, just bringing to mind, talking about, you know, Sylvan and Dynasty, they're very expensive stallions, but they're very successful. Jetmaster was. These are proven, James, we have got proven stallions. And the people who put their money into buy stallions, because only a small amount of stallions make it to the top, they're trying to buy the best, and we're buying horses that have won American Triple Crowns, horses out of the UK. No, I don't agree with him that. I just think our breeding stock needs a chance to get out there.
Well, what he says here is he says that little-known Silvano is by a little-known sire Lomatos, okay, German horse, and he says we should be looking for more obscure pedigrees, Pioneer of the Nile. But the problem is, and this is the problem, Roy, is that it takes an enormous amount of money to prove a stallion. You know, if you want to prove a stallion, you've got to go and get it mares, which means you normally got to buy them yourself. And then you've got to get lucky. And there's a statistic like 8% of
something I don't know the percentage.
Champions or end up in the top echelon.
You know, we've had a wonderful run where you got to sales here in South Africa, and there's a lot of top stallions you can buy from. You know, a lot of our top studs stand top stallions. And inevitably, the cream comes to top, James. We do know that. You've got your top ones, but there's some decent stallions. You know, I'm a big fan of a stallion like Judpot.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an amazing fan. Var's, you know, shown us.
Judpot's an interesting horse. I think he had a couple of Group 1 winners in his first 2 crops, and then he's gone quiet.
No, there's a few. There's a few in there. I was just having a look at them the other day. There's a few lurking.
So he's back on the way up.
Yeah, back, there's no doubt. And there are stallions, there are new stallions that are coming through all the time. You know, you have a look and you see.
Well, we have Flower Rally. He's now going to have his first crop next year. And we got Philanthropist for his first crop this year.
Yeah, they're racing.
You know, they're racing, talking about horses they're going to race. I think that the breeders are
Give me
putting
the
a
green
tremendous
light,
amount
starting to
of
get a few runners now.
Yeah, give me the green light.
There's a lot of stallions there. So to have a go at our stallions would be unfair. You know, and the people that buy them, the people who go out there, they syndicate horses, they get clubs together and they buy stallions. And the wealthy breeders buy top stallions, top pedigrees from top races. So it's tough to say they're no good, James. We've seen ours do well overseas.
Well, absolutely. What he also says is, well, American Pharaoh's by Pioneer of the Nile, who no one knew about.
Yeah, but he's a good horse, Pioneer. You mustn't
Very
forget,
good
you
horse.
know, you mustn't forget that. He was a good. Why do you think he went to stud?
And Wise Man's Ferry, the sire of Wise Dan.
Yeah.
But those are...
the element with Wise Dan is the South African connection.
Well, that's right. He's out of Wolf Power. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But those are individuals that stand out. But the thing is, if you look at the top stallions, even if you look at America, Tappet is a top stallion there. Kitten's Joy, top stallion there. They've taken years. Kitten's Joy was homebred.
That's a wonderful story. The Ramses, I think it is. The
fortunes
Ramses,
to actually make that into a top stallion. On most farms, Kitten's Joy would never have made it. You know, but the Ramses were convinced that he was a stallion, and they made it.
Fantastic stallion, James.
Yeah. What else have we got there?
Here we got another one here. Sorry, just get my mouth sorted out. Here we got one from Vish Peruval or something. When is stakes money going up? One question with a question mark.
Well,
I'll leave you to that
Listen, you're director of Gold Circle. You know, you're the chaps that have made all these promises that we're going to have 100 grand stakes for maidens for within a year. And,
but everyone,
okay,
we soon qualified that by having the CEO in here and telling us about how the fight to the bookmakers has not allowed us any progress in that field. So that is the only reason. If we didn't have that, James didn't have that.
So the bookmakers are causing all the problems?
Well, not all the problems. No, I wouldn't blame them for all the problems. But there's disputes. They've been going for 3 years, James.
Interesting. I was reading the websites the other day, and Pumalela's shareholdings have gone up.
Yeah.
And their profit from turnovers have gone up considerably in the last year.
Yeah.
And but because they're a public company, it doesn't all come back to stakes.
No, that's the killer.
Gold Circle?
Oh, for some, these shareholders or stakeholders. There's a big difference. But no, James, listen, there's a lot that probably have done brilliantly. If you look at John Stewart getting into, I know we're digressing slightly on stakes money, but John Stewart getting involved with getting us commingled, that's gone through the roof. That's made a lot of money for the three operators now.
So now I'm asking you. You asked me. When are stakes going up? When are we getting 100 grand a maiden?
It's a very good question, because people are out there saying everything's going up. You know, whether it's to register a horse or whether it's to buy a bag of cubes, or now after a drought, try and buy Lucerne, or you know, James buying all our roughage.
I'll tell you that EPOL have had 4 price increases in 6 months. 4 price increases.
Is that their shop in Brazil?
No. Here
4
in South
times.
Africa, 4 price increases in 6
outrageous.
months. Okay?
That's outrageous.
And they explain it. They send out a chart and they show you that the prices of maize and the price of soya and the price of the lucerne, the things that go into their product, just keep going up.
Yeah, but sometimes you've got to tighten the screw, you know, because the end user is struggling. You know yourself, when people come in and they're training horses, and we want the stake money to go up, as Vish says here. We want to say, I'd love the stake money to be more. And we used to have one of the best risk to reward ratios in owning a horse anywhere in the world at one stage.
Yeah.
It's getting tougher now. It's getting tougher. Yeah. And we don't want, we want stake money to come back, and we want people to come into racing. We want racing to be better and better. And it's going in many facets. Racing in South Africa is going well. But stake money, as you know, there's been little five grand increase in the maidens here, and a little stuff across the board. But it needs cash injection, I don't know, within the next 12 months.
And as a director of Gold Circle, put on that hat, are we going to get it in the next 12 months?
I don't know. I really, that's not my...
What your projections say?
My projections say, get to the sales in Joburg. Project yourself up into Joburg. No, it's James, there are people who work on it every day. It's a situation that we have to get right. We've got to get more stake money at the game. We can't not give these guys who are chipping away and having their fun, because it's just going to become a smaller pool.
Some people say racing's for rich people.
It is.
And therefore it doesn't really matter what stakes you race for. I totally
No. When they say racing's for rich people, that's the first part of the sentence.
Yeah.
And for everybody else, and for poor people. Racing's a game of the masses.
Yeah.
You know, because a person loses R500,000 on Manchester United doesn't mean the masses won't support the football. The bigger picture is the sport. And that's where I think people have got to realise that, James, for a company to get back money like that, people have to buy into every single facet of racing, whether it's sports betting, whether it's everything. The racing pool used to be a matter of horse racing, give us all our money and we'll be able to put fun stakes money. Now you've got to look at sports betting, you've got to look at other avenues, and everybody, whether it be bookmaker, operator, whatever, they're looking at different ways of getting more money in.
So what you're telling me is we're going to get the stakes increase we want within the next year.
Yeah, work on that.
This is going to get a stakes increase.
Stake increases must be token.
He's obviously, you know what, he's obviously one of those guys that's involved in a little syndicate somewhere who's got and they find that the expenses run away with them rather than, you know, today we're going to go to the sales and you're going to average 350 or 400,000 for a horse. When you win a maiden plate, you're going to get 45,000.
Yeah,
That's in Durban, you're going to get 50,000 in Johannesburg, and you're going to get 35 in Cape Town. And so, you know, when you start looking at it,
there's an imbalance that has to be rectified, James. And I just hope stake money keeps going up. I really do. Because
is this your thinker pose?
That's my thinking pose. You guys got that?
Yeah.
And then this is the guys.
Okay, so you've got all the right moves.
Everyone is dying for the stake money, obviously for stake money to go up, and we hope there's so many things we're hoping happen, and let's hope it happens, James, because we've got to go. You know that yourself. We've got to win. You've got to win more money when you win a maiden.
Okay, well, listen, the yearling sales is upon us. That's where we're all heading to. We're going to have a look at what we've got from Magic Millions winner. I think we've got one of those up. Let's have a look and see what that is. The Magic Millions winner.
It was Marmalady. She ran in the big race the other day.
Yeah. So there you are. Marmalady.
Duke Marmalade.
Duke Marmalade filly. She's the South African connection from Magic Millions. And obviously, Magic Millions is going to have their sale at the end of May, 24th of May onwards, isn't it?
About 27th onwards. Yeah.
27th of May to the 7th of June.
Yeah, weanlings,
you want to
mares and yearlings.
You want to get hold of Laf here. He'll be able to organise you to go to Australia to go and buy yourself a nice horse. Until next time, we'll be back with some more pearls of wisdom next week.